So, I want to talk more about what the heck was going on at that convention, right? So, we're talking about the shamanic healer, right? The one that I was looking at. So, set that down. I'm gonna get distracted. But anyway, so, since we're so evil, let's talk about something cool, right? For once. So, when we were in that shamanic practice, she'll put you in that sort of like trance almost, right? So, you gotta ground yourself. Keep yourself at bay. I mean, for some of you out there who practice Reiki healing, you understand the whole grounding methods and how it's highly effective. So, what she did, she had the drums, which is drums in a very native tradition. You know, it really helps because of the rhythm. You know what I mean? It's like thunder in your bones, bro, because it's real. Come on, shut up. But anyways, she said that we're going to take a trip into the lower realm. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I was like, fuck, we gotta go to lower realms again? I'm like, damn, bro. She's like, no, it's like where the tree of life is. I was like, okay, it's not as low, but like, shit. You know what I mean? But we're gonna get to the funny part though. So like the whole time, so I have Archangel Metatron with me and Archangel Gabriel at the time, right? So, I mean, it's still currently because we're going over some stuff. So they're here to monitor, right? They're here to keep you within sacred alignment. They don't work for you by any means, right? So if somebody out there saying, oh, I got angels working for me, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. That's not how it works, man. That's not how that works, man. They're there to monitor. They're there to kick you in the ass a little bit if you need to be in alignment, bro. They're going to make sure you freaking do your soul's, mission, right? But they're really going to help too if you're actually willing to do the work and put in the effort halfway. You know what I mean? Like meet the universe halfway, meet your angels halfway, right? So stick with me right now. So they put me in this trance. She said, okay, go ahead and we're going to focus on finding out your power animals, right? Because like I said, the dude was like, I'm here for the dragons. And I'm like, yeah, with that guy. You know, like half the classroom was like, we're here for the dragons too. And they're like, so during the time of the class, she's like within 15 minutes of the class, like all these people, they show up late, right? So like there's the right side of the classroom that's completely like empty. There's like 2 or 3 people over there. And then like there's my side. I was like, I got me, I got my aunt. And then, dude, my aunt was a huge cock block the whole time, bro. Everyone's like, you guys are the dynamic duo. I was like, that's my aunt, bro. I was like, fuck. So like the whole time, because like most of the women there were like 25 and under. And then, like, they would look, like, how those women would hit on dudes. That's how they shoot their shot. They'd be like, and then run away. And I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm not going to talk to you like that. Fuck you. I was like, you guys are lame. But then, like, some of them, like, who know what they're doing is, like, over 25, they'll walk up to you and be like, hey, handsome, you know, how old are you? And I was just like, oh, right. But anyways, we're getting back to the script. So, we're in that trance, and she's getting us grounded. We're getting calmed down. And then all these people start piling in late. They all start filling in behind me, right? So I'm sitting by myself. Like all these people start filling in behind me. And then like even throughout the class, I'm staring into this lady's soul. She's giving a lecture, right? I'm seeing that she's capping, bro. I was like, do not waste my time right now, bro. He said he was here for the dragons. It's like, I want to listen to dragons too now, bro. I was like, you pissing me off. You know? So like, I was like, you better not screw up. And then all these people start showing up more and more behind me. I'm like, bro, I'm super magnetic right now, bro. I was like, I'm just in a good mood, bro. It's like, so that's what happens when you're vibrating at a high frequency. Like you attract, you know what I mean? Which is pretty cool. Like law of attraction, bro. You know, you gotta shake the trauma out your hips. You know what I mean? But anyways, so she puts me in a trance. And it's a 10-minute trance. So the 9 minutes of it is we're going into ourselves, right? You have to call upon your guides to basically slingshot you towards the lower realm. So I heard the word slingshot and I was like, Metatron. I was like, this dude, he's all about that, you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, cool. So she's like, go ahead, ground yourself, put yourself in a trance. And I was just like, all right, bet. You know, she's sounding the drum. I was like, all right, said a little prayer out, did my little hand insignias. I was like, all right, Archangel Metatron. I was like, may you please slingshot me into the lower realm. I heard, are you sure? I was like, yeah. I was like, take me to the tree of life. It's like, all right. So I go all the way down, right? So I'm going through, it's a very dark corridor. So I'm walking through and Archangel Gabriel, he's guiding me. Okay, so he's guiding me. I kind of get like off topic a little bit. I kind of like go off the trail. He's like, bro. And I'm like, I'm looking. I look to the left. I see there's an ox presented, right? I was like, okay. I was like, is this like one of the power animals? Because I know for a fact I ain't never seen you before, bro. And then like, I look over to the right and there's a door, right? And Gabriel's like, don't. And I was just like, so I walk over there. I open it up. But I see just, I was just like, well, there's the fucking dragon. I was like overwhelmed as fuck, dude. I was like, I slammed the door. I said, nope, not today. I was like, Gabriel, take me away. So he's walking me down, and then I see this throne, right? And then there's the altars next to it, and then there's a snake sitting in the throne. I was like, okay, so it's like, yeah, the snake, very transformative time. I was like, you one of the power animals this year. It was like, so it hissed at me, but it was cool. And then like 2 wolves came out. And I was just like, okay, this is really neat. All right, bet. So I was like, what are you trying to show me right now? And then they led me to another door. And I was like, wait a minute. And then the drums start getting fast, right? She's like, all right, you need to start bringing yourself back up. I was like, hold up, we need to check this out real quick. I take a little peek. And like she brought us out of the trance. I was like, damn it. And I was like, damn it. So I popped back up, came into it. I'm sitting there, like my notebook falls over, and like the people behind me hand it to me. The whole time they're looking at me like, here you go. And I was just like, are they watching me the whole time or something? Like, I was like, I don't even think they came. I think they were just watching me with my eyes closed, because I was the only one like really trying my hardest. But there was this one lady who was sitting in front of me. She actually had a genuine trip there. She talked about the bunny rabbit too, and she talked about the Christ light, talked about a tree, talked about a corridor. I was just like, yeah. I was like, I saw a little bunny rabbit down there. I was like, I know what you're talking about. Like, hers was actually very genuine. And then right after that, you got all these other people like, oh yeah, you know what? I saw mine, and there was like this cow, and it transformed into a crocodile, but then it was actually a goddess. I was like, are you my power animal? She goes, yeah, totally. And I was just like, this bullshit ass fucking story, bro. I was like, what the heck? I was like, that don't make no damn sense, bro. And then the next person, there was another dude who was like, yo, I saw a bear. And I was just like, dude, it's always a freaking bear. I was like, why are they always talking about bears and shit? I mean, like, I get it, because there's like different power animals, different spirit animals that help you along the journeys, and they always change depending on how you're feeling or like what spiritual lessons and stuff you need to learn and understand in this world, right? But like, there's a difference between, confirmation. There's a difference between like imagination and intuition and actual like neurodivergency, right? So I don't know. That's like those are like the worst type of people in my opinion. I was like, they just keep going off of each other's stories and adding on to it. Then the same other 2 people would pipe back up and add more to the story. Like, oh yeah, I remember confirmations. Like, oh yeah, I remember this and this happened too. And then like, I didn't even want to share my story, bro, at all. I was just sitting here and I was looking at the shamanic healer the whole time. I had my arms crossed, bro. I was like, every time they would say something, you can hear the liar, bro. Like I said, it's like this little mist that's around them. I'm like, ugh. I was like, bro, why? I said, be real right now. Y'all wasting my time, bro. But like one lady, well, she's actually talking about like the eagle and stuff too. She mentioned Garuda. And I was like, okay, that resonates with me. She's legit cool. So yeah, she was talking about her Kundalini about 12 years ago. I was like, oh, this lady's cool. All right, she knows what she's talking about. But everybody else was there for the dragons and just like, that was fucking crazy. But be honest with yourselves, because like everybody's like experience is totally different, but just like don't lie about it. You know what I mean? Don't lie about it. Be real with yourselves, bro. Actually talk with your guides. Call upon archangels too. Seek guidance. Seriously. Like, they are here to help. But they're not gonna do your bidding, bro. By any means. Like you call upon your ancestors, you call upon your guides, you call upon any gods, goddesses, deities, so on and so forth. They are not a bank, bro. You know what I mean? They're not a Make-A-Wish either, guys. Like, they're gonna guide you and lead you to the water, but it's up to you to drink that water, bro. You know what I mean? So pay attention to the signs, right? Follow your heart. Stay at a high frequency, bro. Like, don't worry about the external factors. Stay internal, right? Not be internal, you know what I mean? Just like operate from that heart space, right? Create that radiating effect, dude, and transform yourself. You know what I mean? Be a shapeshifter, right? But Have a beautiful day. I love you guys. Deuce.